Komondo is the highest settlement in Covasna County's historical Haramsake region. Komondo is situated at the exact point where the Carpathians form their sharpest angle, and locals like to say it is on top of the world. Komondo is the most famous industrial logging settlement in Seklerland. It is situated 20 kilometers from Covasna in the picturesque Bashka Valley, surrounded by mountains. A well-maintained wooded road leads up to the town through the wonderful Tundirvuj, or Fairy Valley. Komondo is an independent administration and received its name from the old border guards who used this place as a base when these mountains marked the edge of the empire. The settlement itself is quite young, but its history stretches back many centuries. In the 17th century, Komondo was a huge forest belonging to the Mikes family from Zagon, who received the land as a gift from the Hungarian king for their services and loyalty. Mikes Pal's fortune was confiscated, however, after he fought against the emperor's army as Tokoi Imre's follower and leader, and the forest was divided into pieces. In 1764, there was a Sekler border guard unit here which ceased activities in 1848, only to be replaced by a customs unit in 1867. The owner of the forest, Zaturecki Dula, sold the land in 1882 to David Horn, a businessman from Pest who was born in Felvidek. Horn David later started enormous lumber projects in the mountains and founded the Transylvanian Wood Industry, a joint stock company. The first lumber yard was named after the owner, Jula Falva. After a few years, a second sawmill was established, and Komondo came to life. For the workers, whose numbers were constantly growing, they built hut-like buildings, which were enough for 40 families. In 1889, there were people from 9 different ethnic backgrounds living here. In Horn's time, there were already 3 sawmills, a school, hospitals, and the lumber yards had electricity, while in nearby metropolitan Brasov, the streetlights were still gas. Along with building factories, Horn dreamt of circular railways and a form of escalator among the mountains. He started the construction of the railways but had to sell his business because of financial troubles. The railway system was finished 10 years later with 2 escalators built in Horn's time and 2 more built by the new owners, the Gradel family. The escalators, testament to 19th century engineering, were built upon plans of engineer Lux Emil and were used to transport wood from the forests. They functioned using giant pulley systems and used gravity instead of fuel to lower full wagons of wood while pulling up empties. There is still one on Shishak Mountain which stands as a unique exhibit in the history of European industry. On the 1,268-meter-long course, there were 2 carts, and the change in elevation between the highest and lowest parts was 327 meters. For years, these escalators were the only connection with other settlements, transporting not only wood but people as well, over 108 years of operation. Only in 1970 was a road completed to Komondo. The gradient had to be fixed several times, burnt down twice, and stopped working in 1990. This 120-kilometer-long dolly-type industrial railway was the most important wood railway in historical Hungary. Today, though there's only a small portion remaining, it is enjoying a renaissance as train enthusiasts visit on railway tours. The wood industry established Camondo as an economic power, and at the end of the 19th century the settlement began to develop. Renowned engineers and experts lived here, who established a civilized and culturally demanding lifestyle. In 1931, however, the Gradle family who owned the sawmills were so indebted that they could not pay their workers. A merchant named Bubi Lichtenstein sponsored the workers for a year in an attempt to keep them there, at least until the Gradles paid their debt. The conditions did not improve and workers started a strike in 1936. Their strike was quickly dissipated by a legion of strikebreakers called in by the owners. In respectful memory of the strike, there's a memorial board on the wall of an old office. Another event in 1936 was the settlement's upgrade to a village. After the Second World War, when the Dulafalva sawmill closed and the entire village of Dulafalva was absorbed into the Camondo administration, there was only one functioning sawmill remaining, which turned high profits because of the village's isolation and lack of competition. The Camondo factory's decay started in 1960. According to a communist law, the machines could not be repaired locally, and many of the tools that were sent away for repair were never returned. The final blow fell in 1995, when 2.5 million acres of woods collapsed and parts of the forest were completely destroyed. Until the regeneration of the forest, rules were introduced to limit the amount of wood cut, which led to the bankruptcy of the wood industry. The Camondo factory worked exactly 110 years when it was closed on the 17th of October 1999 at 10 a.m. Smaller sawmills still work in the area, but most of the private wood is transported from here by trucks. Camondo's birth and life were intimately connected with the wood industry, so the decline of timbering had a big impact on the life of the local people. The locals soon realized the tourist potential, and so the basics of the catering trade were established. Comfortable pensions and a variety of other different commercial units await visitors today. The settlement is slowly coming to life. More and more houses are being built, and increasing numbers of visitors come to discover the beauties and values of this region. The touristic sites of the village are all connected to the history of the wood industry. This house was built in 1890 for the managing director. The small castle, as they named it, is a registered monument, and this is the only remaining house of the many built by Horn David. When the state took it over, the home had been turned into a nursery school, which was its salvation. Since 2006, the home hosts the Village Museum, where visitors are offered exhibitions about local history and science. The museum's establishment is the result of the Horn David Group's work, and it is supported by the local government. The Horn David Group aims to protect local values, monuments, and natural treasures of the region while introducing the area to the public. The Gradle House is also an interesting building. It was built between 1927 and 28 in Swiss style, and now it hosts the local medical office. Next to the medical office, we can see the local school, which has 1st through 8th grade classes. Educational institutions have existed here as long as there have been sawmills, and the first school was founded in Dulafalva in 1889. In the backyard there's a camp for children. Little wooden houses and a sports yard wait for children, and tent camping is possible as well. The village hall has always been the most important focal point of civic life. It was built by Liechtenstein the merchant in 1922, and later a casino functioned inside. Today it hosts the mayor's office as well as the culture house. In the village park, one can see a memorial column for the heroes of the 1849 revolution. Another memorial pays respect to those who died in the First World War. This picturesque settlement is worth visiting both in winter and summer, particularly for those who like hiking in the mountains or trekking, industrial history and culture, or just want to relax. The simple beauty of the settlement is enriched by its natural treasures. The ancient pine forests on the mountains give us a wonderful view, and here one can find natural rarities such as peat moss bogs. Discovering some of the hundreds of different types of mushrooms also makes it well worth the visit. The forest also provides income for the locals who profit from collecting and selling mushrooms and fruit. Gmundno is also worth visiting for its interesting traditional festivities. Every year at the end of July they organize a Gypsy Folklore Festival which lasts a week, and every day new songs and dances are taught. Famous lecturers give speeches in the afternoons, and huge dance parties go on every night. The peculiar atmosphere of this international meeting does not only enchant the participants, but also revives the whole village. The camp is always ended by a gala, where the participants present what they've learnt during the week, while original gypsy orchestras offer live music. The dance group of the Commando School is one of the most enthusiastic participants on these occasions. As soon as the Gypsy Festival is over, there's another colorful event on Commando's agenda. Commando Days are organized in the first weekend of August, and everybody who came from this village is expected to come home for the festivities. Dance and music make the atmosphere welcoming, and local specialties are offered to the guests who are invited to join funny competitions. In 2007, the first Village Days was started with the inauguration of a Seckler Gate. The gate stands at the entrance to the village as a symbol of the hospitable community who has hopes for the future with respect to the past. After the speeches and ribbon cutting, the local folk dance group, the Fenyuchke, gave a nice dance performance. The most active part of the event went on around the stage, where interesting contests followed one after another. Obviously, the tasks were all connected to wood, as it has always marked the history of the village, and this is how participants had to prove their abilities. Woodcutting, bending axes, and climbing trees were among the most entertaining tasks, and they were performed to great admiration. During the programs, children as well as adults could seek out a variety of distractions. Mouth-watering scents drew everyone to the cooking tents, and in the meantime performances could be seen on stage. The Commando children had a chance to prove their dancing abilities. And the event was visited by the President of Romania himself, Mr. Traian Băsescu. These events raise Commando's popularity every year, and public opinion slowly recognizes this settlement, formerly known only for the wood industry, as a resort. Each season offers an amazing atmosphere and beauty to visitors. In the winter, it's visited because of the wonderful snow-covered pine forests. On the slopes of the Laur Mountain, ski lifts make winter sports possible, and at the foot of the mountain a pension offers boarding and events for children during the holidays. The 350-meter-long slope is covered by snow long before others in the region. And every year, on the second weekend in February, locals organize a snow festival. The whole village parties for 2 days, enjoying the joys of winter. Visitors are welcomed by a huge snowman. On the first day, there are traditional programs like ski competitions and sledge competitions for different age groups. While on one side of the slopes competitions are taking place, on the other side snow sculpting contests for children proceed. People travel by motorized sleigh or those pulled by donkeys to the climax of the evening, which is a nighttime ski run followed by a bonfire and fireworks. The most popular program of snow days is the so-called Crazy Competition, in which the funniest group wins first prize. Up in the highest settlement of Haramsek, there's always something interesting and exciting going on. In order to preserve its fame and charm, commando-organized events are becoming more and more popular, and guests always return. This amazing region is truly worthy of becoming a resort paradise.